Well, an Eskom Board member left a parliamentary meeting in a huff after the utility was called to account for the ongoing power cuts. The utilities board and senior management were in the hot seat basically today. They were answering questions from Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts. Board member Busisiwe Mavuso stormed out following a heated exchange with SCOPA Chairperson Mkhuleko Hlengwa. Heidi Giokos is following this story for us. She joins us now live. So lots of drama in that meeting. Hey, I saw the visuals. Talk us through it.
Drama for a Friday, I must say, Shahan. But basically what happened was SCOPA decided to go on an oversight trip this week, firstly to Medupi Power Station as well as to Busisiwe Power Station. And today they had a meeting with Eskom executives and the board, asking them questions about issues that were raised in 2019 during their oversight visit then, whether things have been followed up, whether issues have been dealt with. And Shahan, we do know that our power utility has had issues for years. We're not talking about the last 5 years, probably even more than 10 years. So what you had was the chair of SCOPA raising questions as well as other committee members about the issues that Eskom currently faces, why we still have load shedding, why Busisiwe Power Station has taken 15 years to build instead of the 6 years planned, why Medupi has coal for 398 days instead of the 20 to 30 days that they're supposed to have. All these issues that were raised. And then you had the board member, Busisiwe Mavuso, saying that they will not be the fall man or the fall men for the issues that were raised and brought about years ago, basically saying and blaming the ANC-led government for the failures that Eskom for the failures of Eskom, and how this particular board cannot answer to that. What this particular board can answer to are the issues that they have had to deal with since they have been appointed as board members. This, of course, did not sit well with SCOPA, because SCOPA says they're not there for political parties or for political issues. They are there to hold the board accountable and the executives accountable, and to ask them very important questions. But the board members saying, no, it's facts. Then an exchange happened between them, and this is when the board member decided that she will rather leave. She was actually told, you either behave yourself or you excuse yourself, and she decided to excuse herself. Let's take a look at that engagement.
We had a decent interaction with the chairperson of this board over 2 days. He had the common courtesy to accompany us to where we are going. He has had the common courtesy to attend all the meetings that we have had. So we're not going to come now at midstream of our oversight of Eskom, which began in earnest in 2019, for these kind of theatrics. I just won't stand for it. So I'm suppressing this matter now. I'm sure Honorable Hadebe, who's got every right on behalf now of the ANC to have to say something, because we've been drawn into partisan politics, which is not the construct of this committee.
It wasn't theatrics, Chairperson, it was facts.
Ma'am.
Chair, please.
Ma'am, just hold on, colleagues. Ma'am, let me assure you once again.
We can't be insulted by Ms. Busisiwe Mavuso here, Chair.
Just hold on.
It's not an insult, it's facts, Honorable Hadebe.
Ma'am.
What is the fact?
Just Honorable Hadebe, wait.
That this is the mess of the ANC-led government.
Honorable Hadebe, just wait. Ma'am, I'm going to have to, in one way or the other, hold you in contempt of Parliament. I indicated that this meeting is a parliamentary meeting. If this is how you behave in the board, you're not going to behave like that here. And I know what cameras do. I know what they do. They do this. They derail us from the fundamental issues. And you know, the CEO has been at pains this morning to take us through these issues with a particular patience and just zooming into the issues. And that is why we're all sitting here listening and taking notes. He's not engaging in theatrics, because that's what it is. That's what cameras do. So either you behave yourself or you excuse yourself from this meeting.
I'll excuse myself.
Yeah, I think you best do that.
I think I should also. Thank you.
I think you should. Yeah. Then you had wanted to leave at 11, and so you are engineering this thing so
yeah,
you can...
suits me just fine.
Yeah, it does. And we'll be making fundamental recommendations about yourself and your very unprofessional conduct It's in fact politics of the gutter as far as I'm concerned.
That was a bit awkward, but necessary, because I think she actually has some point there, doesn't she? Because we know that many people have admitted, even in the ANC government, that they really did fail over the years to protect Eskom from the looting that occurred, which is why we're actually in this mess right now. So you had a chance to speak to Andre de Ruyter as well. What's he saying?
Yes, and I just want to go back to your point, Shahan. Having visited Kusile Power Station yesterday with SCOPA and having Eskom officials there, it's mind-boggling to see how something that was supposed to take 6 to 7 years to build is now on its 15th year. How something that was supposed to cost us 81 billion rand is now going to cost South Africans 161 billion rand, because those that were in power and those that were supposed to be safeguarding our power stations and having proper oversight decided to benefit themselves and make their pockets even deeper. So, you know, you look at this engagement and interaction, you say, but where are they wrong with regards to mismanagement of funds? So perhaps that engagement was kind of necessary, but of course we'll just have to wait and see how that is resolved and if it is resolved. Questions were raised to Eskom as well with regards to how they're going to move forward, how much longer South Africans have to deal with load shedding, because every time there's a new board, there's new executives, we are told, oh, it's the mistakes of the previous management, this is why we have load shedding. And something that came out, Shahan, that I think is important for South Africans to understand and realize is that we are going to continue to have load shedding until we have more power stations, and we don't have enough power stations in this country, and it's the government that needs to approve these licenses for these power stations. But of course Eskom saying they're trying to deal with the matter, they're trying to deal with what they can, given the fact that their balance sheets don't allow them to build more power stations. So they're doing what they can with the little that they have. However, we still sit in darkness for most of the year.
What little do they have? Because they're damn charging us extra for electricity every year, but they still can't keep the lights on. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I fully understand that Eskom is dealing with the past decade of looting and corruption that saw the demise of the utility. But the fact that they still ask citizens to pay more and more every year, but we're still seeing more and more load shedding, is a smack in the face for every citizen who pays their taxes, one, and then who has to pay for electricity even when they can't afford it.
Exactly.
So
and
what is Andre de Ruyter saying about that?
Yeah, he's just saying that, you know, on the issue of the fact that we have to keep paying more and more electricity, I actually asked that in the previous press briefing that they had, and they said to us, it's because the previous management, so it's a blame game all the time, it's because of the previous management that did not increase tariffs when they were supposed to, did not increase our electricity when they were supposed to. So now they have to do it all at once. The same with load shedding. There was no maintenance that was done. Our power stations were constrained. They were beaten to a point where they can't. They were overworked. And now we have to suffer because these power stations are breaking down and there needs to be maintenance. So I wish I had an answer for you. I hate load shedding. It's the worst thing ever. But it just seems as though there is no proper solution until governments, including the Department of Mineral Resources, Shahan, that I think we must highlight, that needs to sign off on allowing whoever it might be, whoever has the money and the manpower to build these power stations, to allow them to do so. Because right now, the monopoly is with government and with Eskom. But let's listen to what Andre de Ruyter had to say about the engagement with SCOPA.
So for the weekend, we should be fine. Demand typically is lower over the weekend. The dams are looking quite good. Our pump storage, that's a very important part of our reserves to help us cater for any unplanned outages. Our diesel levels should recover quite well over the weekend as well. So we should start the week with our reserves in place. However, we do have a number of known risks that we are operating with. Boiler tube leaks, vibrations on turbines, issues like that we can manage.
Okay, so Heidi, I'm going to pull a Mkhuleko Hlengwa. You either behave or you leave.